Tripura is a hilly state in the northeastern region of India. It comprises picturesque hills, valleys, and dense forests. Its present total population is 36 lakhs 73,917. Among them, there are combinations of tribal and non-tribal people residing in the state. There are altogether 19 different tribes living in fraternity and peace. The tribes are Tripuri, Riang, Jamathia, Chakma, Halam, Noatia, Mog, Lusai, Uchai, Kuki, Garo, Munda, Orang, Santal, Kashia, Veal, Chimal, Bhutia, and Lakcha, including subtribes like Bong, Korbong, Koloi, Murashing, Malsum, Kaiping, Chawai, Rangkol, Choroi, Simar, Tangchib, Shankchib, and others. The soil of Tripura, previously known as Tripura, has been a witness to the vast and rich culture of its tribal communities from the time immemorial. History repeats itself. This land has been home to a vast number of indigenous people who have all added to its culture and heritage. Many indigenous people and tribal groups have made their territory within this state even before the British Empire had turned it into a princely state. Many of these tribes were the ones who had migrated from Mongolia, Tibet, Burma, and South China Hills, and on their arrival sowed the seed of their vast culture into the demographic status of the state. The Kukis are one of the numerous ancient races that history could account for. They are also known as the headhunter tribe in Tripura. There are various subgroups within this tribe, with Rakum being their main subgroup. Darlong and Lusai are also some other clans which belong to this tribe, and their primary and permanent dwelling and living areas used to be deep forests. They are characterized by short height, flat face and nose, and brown skin tone. Primarily, the Kukis were thought to have no knowledge of growing food, and were mainly depicted as food gatherers and hunters who used to live collecting fruits and berries from the forest produce and also catch fishes and snails. They, being extremely skilled hunters, rely on hunting wild animals like boars and roosters and other birds and fowls. Kukis specialized in making hunting traps, which were capable of taking down boars, tigers, bears, and even elephants. This tribe was basically a warrior tribe, with its people being quite efficient in fighting skills. They never had any kind of barter system, and rather used to procure their food, poultry stuff, and other valuables by attacking other tribal villages.
Khoming ơi, aku min hin, tentang hin, buhi anwang, nang hoy na ommo.
Oh, ringpa, cubay nang kubuk. Kay khat ka ki hoyo chu. So, tinglung kuahan. Na kuason buan tam takan fang. Tinglung kuah buan kena kinu thamro iti.
They were deadly when it came to combat and attack, and their raids in other villages always ended up with them killing large number of people and burning their town houses to ground. Their raids and snatches were all governed and controlled by their elected head, who was called their tribe's king or Sardar. Hunting is to be an important and primary occupation of the Kukis, and eventually the economic activities also revolved around this hunting occupation. Wild boars, monkeys, fowls, deer, hare, and dogs were among their delicacies. Besides bows and arrows being their primary hunting weapons, they also used salai, sock, and cham for hunting purposes. Their specialization in making various types of traps made them efficient hunters and also caught them bigger games. Ethnically, Kukis belong to the Mongolian race of tribes, but their language finds a stench of Kuki Chin language. In Tripura, traces of this tribe are found in Dolubari Ambasha, Hawaibari Teliamura, Dhupdoli Gomati district, Rubukba Taidu, and Longshirkau Shonamura. Their territory ranges from Tripura to parts of Manipur, Mizoram, and the Kacha district of Assam. The word Kuki finds a respected position in both of the chronicles of Meitei and Tripura kings. In the royal chronicles of Tripura, Shiva has been quoted as falling in love with the Kuki women in around 32 AD. Again, in the same chronicles, we find mention of Tripura prince marrying a Kuki princess in 1415 AD. The Kukis were the single largest tribes inhabiting the Tripura hills before the rise of the Burmas. Kukis lived in tong houses generally made of bamboo and chan grass, and were habituated to live in the clustered villages with peaceful neighboring relations. Like every other family in Kuki families too, all the laborious jobs like working in the field, building tools and huts were done by the men, while the women took care of their children, helped in gathering food, and did other household chores. They were extremely social in their tribes and respected the elderly people immensely, seeking their permission and governance into every matter ranging from marriage to childbirth or death. Jum cultivation is the most important and widely used cultivation and farming process among all tribes. Kukis, being no exception, also perform jum cultivation. The whole family takes care of the cultivation process personally, with the young and the elderly ones taking part actively. The women too come up to help their families with the cultivation processes. During the season of jum cultivation, a couple usually goes out to find out for places for jum cultivation. When they find a place which may be ideal for jum cultivation, they perform a puja to worship their jum god, also called lao bowl and decide whether the land is favorable for Jum or not. Then they mark the land and burn the trees in that to make the land rich and nutrients. Then seeds are sown and the crops are cultivated and harvested. Jum cultivation, or lao ina, is called by the Kukis, is famous for its nutrient-rich food produce, which is entirely organic with no use of pesticides or fertilizers. The Kukis mainly grow vegetables and paddy. They also add wild leaves, plants, and wild potatoes and mushrooms to their diet. Igniting fire by the Kukis has been a remarkable one. We all know that a fire ignition got a girl in the primitive stage by striking stones. Here is another epoch-making venture by the Kukis. They used to fix up a bamboo piece on the ground. Two men sitting in the opposite directions gave vent to rubbing another piece of bamboo. Rubbing and rubbing. The bamboo piece reached the paramount level of heat to ignite fire. With the help of collected hay, blowing air to the hot bamboo piece, the preliminary fire was invented. Later, they added many more bamboo pieces. Thus, the required fire for cooking and other purposes was ready. Pollution-free environment, living so close to nature and having such organic and nutrient-rich dietary habits blessed them with good health and longer life expectancy. The Kukis and their attachment to music and dance is so much that all the occasions are incomplete without their dance. During Jum Puja, the Achai or the head priest, along with a subordinate, performs the puja, which is commemorated by playing a handmade bamboo whistle called Thaid 3 times. After the Jum Puja is done, the ceremony is concluded by a musical dance performed by both the men and women of the tribe. Besides hunting and gathering, the Kukis display the traits of fine craftsmanship too. They have mastered the art of making baskets and other bamboo craft items, thus making themselves financially strong and economically stable. Women organize this dance with men, joining them, and they make merry through their dance on the beats of handmade drums and to the melodious sound of rosam. Tribes throughout the world have latched themselves to the wonderful euphoria that music and dance provides. The Kukis are no exception. Their lives revolve around nature and Jum cultivation, and hence their music. Folklore and dance also revolve around these activities. Besides Jum dance, or Thaido as they call it, Kukis have other dances like war dance, bamboo dance, Kausain Tlo dance, which is done while worshipping Lord Shiva, and Rakum Baitlo, or the year and celebration dance. Kukis make their own musical instruments like drums or kung, kasa or darping, gongs or dakung, etc. And they also use animal hooves and horns as trumpets and blows to produce music. Buffalo horns are also called shaldeki, is greatly used by them as trumpet. During their June harvest, they keep their harvest on a raised platform, offering the first produce to their deity. They also sacrifice poultry animals and pigs and goats as a sacred offering to their deities. Their country liquor is a delicacy among them, also called lungi. This country liquor is used by them in every occasion as an essential cocktail. They worship deities like Ganga, Tagoraro, Banerio, and Burasa. They believe their existence is cared of by the deities, and hence their rituals and worship practices revolve around pleasing their deities for their good health and prosperous future. Kukis are fond of colorful dresses and ornaments. They make their own clothes using the cotton cultivated from their jhum. They use their handloom expertise in making and weaving their own clothes. The men wear a piece of cloth called tanlo as their top and wear kanjel, a big piece of handloom as their bottom. The women wear zapoibar on their top and zao kenze as their bottom. The ornaments worn by kuki women are called misi or ratoi, which are made of reddish glass-like metal. They also prefer flower and seed ornaments, with silver being the most preferred, and metal for making earrings called dankanbei, necklaces, or taibei. They also wear their headgears in all occasions. Men wear misotel and women wear tawait, which is made using a seal rooster's feathers, also called antang. While taking part in some occasion, they wear their traditional clothes and jewelry, which make them distinct from the other tribes. The Kukis are strictly endogamous. They do not marry outside their community. The Kuki tribal people generally perform arranged marriages, where the groom is found by the bride's father and vice versa. They also have love marriages in their community, but that takes place with special permission and consent from the bridegroom's parents and village elderly. When marriage proposal is set up, the groom's father visits the bride's father and settle down to an agreement. The groom's father then pays some price to the bride's father as an agreement of the bride's hand. Before the actual marriage ceremony takes place, the girl and the boy can only be allowed to live together by their parents' permission. Marriages in Kuki community usually takes place in the months of December and January. Marriages are done under the consent of Ochai, while divorces are governed by the Kuki Council. Marriage takes place under the guidance of their priest or Ochai, who chants some verses and mantras and performs the marriage ceremony in front of some of the family relatives of the boy and the girl.
Awen ta hechu nang neta nang dong wang sak sase nang ro kan hin bon nang ke pek dam ro har ro ko kan hin nang dam thejing on ngai khom nu pa ngai khom chu bai chu bai
reng pa. Kami tu mingai inro. Dong nai zumen.
The marriage is followed by a grand feast.